a lost world of mountains, jungles, and ravines. It hides an abundance of wildlife, and it's disappearing fast. Now the BBC has assembled a team of jungle specialists to explore this great unknown wilderness before it's too late. Oh, look at that. Fantastic.
Oh my God.
For 40 days, they'll be living deep in this forest.
We've made a real decision to go to places deliberately that people haven't been to before.
Their aim? To track down and catalogue the extraordinary animals that live here.
Sounds at least 2 meters.
Whilst avoiding the ones that are tracking them down.
Oh, my mum!
It's a tough walk in, as hot as a sauna and just as humid. Their destination, a base camp built specially for the team. Just as they're nearing camp, a helicopter brings in 2 tons of climbing gear, food, and emergency medical kit. The helicopter drops the supplies in the only place it can, a nearby river beach. The team includes wildlife filmmakers Gordon Buchanan and Justine Evans, as well as environmental scientist Dr. Tara Shine. For the first phase of the expedition, this will be laboratory and living quarters for the team of climbers, cameramen and scientists. They've brought along state-of-the-art filming kit, but the tropical heat and humidity will test the gear and the people to the very limit.
So this is the girls' dorm. This is my bed. Doesn't have a mattress, doesn't have anything that's terribly comfortable, just a piece of nylon suspended between 2 sticks. As you can see, the whole place is like a Chinese laundry. Then these are the toilets. We have 3. We're very spoiled because we have a good old-fashioned British toilet, a full-on porcelain bowl with a seat. So this is the kitchen, and you would not believe the good food that gets produced in here. This is our eating area, talking area. So this is our home for the next 6 weeks. Not exactly a 5-star hotel. Relatively comfortable, but a little bit open to the elements. Lots of mud, lots of rain.
It's supposed to be the dry season.
It's pouring rain.
You have to shout, I'm afraid.
It's pouring rain. You can hardly hear yourself think, and I hope I put all my stuff away properly. And the thing is, I don't know how long this can last. You know, if it rained like this at home, it could only last for 5 minutes, but here it could go on for hours.
The rain's coming in on my manhole, and all the stuff's getting wet.
The first injuries are being treated by the ex-army medics. Here, even the smallest wounds quickly turn septic. Life in the jungle is proving much tougher than expected. By the next morning, the storm has passed. Gordon served his apprenticeship in the Amazon. He lived there for 4 years.
Rainforest. definitely are one of the most uncomfortable environments. It is just like a big compost heap, and things just, if you don't move, you rot.
First light is the best time to work before temperatures soar.
Okay.
Justine is on her first recce of the forest. Most of Tara's work is in deserts and mountains, not rainforests.
Well, at some point I have to put these wet clothes back on, and as you can see, they're still like wringing wet. They've been hanging up there all night. They're no drier than they were last night. And the theory is that we should take these dry clothes off and keep them dry for tonight, and put these wet, cold, clammy clothes on. And I mean right from the knickers up.
Dr. Tara Shine is an environmental scientist. She's here to pull together all the discoveries on the expedition.
What I do is I advise primarily governments on what they should be doing to take better account of the environment in their policies and in their planning. I'm fascinated with the world and how it works, and how do we look after our beautiful, fabulous planet in the context of a changing world.
Half of all species in the world live in rainforests. They're teeming with life. But now more than ever they're threatened. Even in this far-flung region, where humans rarely venture.
But when we're walking around here looking for things, or stepping on trails that nobody has been on before, when we go out at night, we're shining our torches on things that people have never seen before.
The base camp is deep in the lost valley of Imbak, a canyon with massive walls of rock on either side, protecting the untouched forest within. For the first phase of the expedition, the team will track down and film the animals that live here, in the hope they can raise the conservation status of this remote canyon. Justine has heard a pair of gibbons singing to each other high above.
Find the gibbons. Apparently they're just on the trail, above the trail. So we've got to be in a real hurry. Might not stay there very long.
Junior Laredo and a team of Malaysian naturalists are part of the expedition. This morning they're tracking a gibbon family as they swing through the canopy.
Yeah, we just saw them moving through. They're probably not far.
Gibbons are easy to hear, but notoriously difficult to film. It's a tough test, even for a seasoned camerawoman like Justine.
They spend most of their time near the tops of trees. And they have the opposite of vertigo, I think. If they come to the ground, they're terrified. Yeah, we found the gibbons. I didn't manage to get a shot, but we found where they are, and I'm going to head back to base now.
So you heard them and you could see them jumping from tree to tree or something?
Yeah, but they were sort of way up in the distance, so we left Junior out to just keep tabs on them, trying to find out where they're going to sleep. I think at this stage it's more important that we do that. And I did hear a proper duet in that area, so it must be a pair.
So yeah, if you want shots of them, you really have to get them from the platform, don't you?
Yeah.
Otherwise it'll just be a glimpse of moving leaves with a bit of fur. Yeah.
The gibbons have never seen people before. Justine has no idea how they'll react.
And then you follow Justine. This is Tara coming over.
Junior, it's Tara.
Tara, we just discovered a very fresh track of clouded leopard 500 meters from the camp. Over.
That's brilliant, Junior. I mean, fresh as in 24 hours?
Probably just after the rain. Over.
Wow, and only 500 meters from here?
500 meters from the camp. Over.
What is it?
It's brilliant news. Clouded leopard track. Fresh ones, like 24 hours. You think sometime during the rains last night.
Whereabouts?
500 meters away. And now we have to figure out a way of how can we see them.
The clouded leopard. the most elusive and secretive of Borneo's carnivores. Finding and filming it will be a real coup for big cat expert Gordon.
Wow. There it is.
That's the first one.
You're right, that's incredibly fresh.
That's the great thing about the rains. It just makes this a total mulch and perfect for tracking stuff.
And how do you know this is a leopard? Okay.
Looking at the size, I reckon it's a huge, huge cat.
So, how long about do you think?
So body size would be like that long, with an extended fluffy tail, and with this claw mark, this kind of heavy cat for sure.
This is so encouraging, but this is just sort of as indication that they're here. Trying to get images of them is going to be the next big step.
Justine's already on her next step to tracking down the gibbons. She's going to build a platform up one of the giant forest trees. Her crossbow fires a line over a high branch.
Hey, perfect. Go right through the right branch. I was really relieved at that, actually. I thought it was going to be a nightmare. This is just the beginning. We've got to get the platform up.
The hot and sweaty job of carrying the metal platform up the steep slopes falls to biologist and mountaineer Steve Batchelor.
About the weight of a small child and made of solid aluminium. And I'm very, very glad that it's not me that's going to be living on it for 3 weeks.
Back on the trail of the clouded leopard,
Spider's running in my eye.
Tara's making a plaster cast of the
And
footprint.
that plaster is trying to run.
Having physical proof it lives here is vital.
The clouded leopard is one of the rarest and most endangered animals in Borneo. So maybe if we find animals like the clouded leopard, we might be able to raise the status of this area, of this very unique habitat, so that it can be protected for posterity.
The canyon may be remote today, but could be threatened tomorrow. Once this great Southeast Asian island was all rainforest, but every year 1 million trees are felled. Every year the plantations creep closer. Down in the lowlands, the rows of oil palms start and stretch as far as the eye can see. 20 years ago, this was all rainforest. For the team to help conserve the canyon as a nature reserve, they need evidence that it's home to a rich variety of wildlife. From now on, Justine will spend each and every day perched on this square of aluminium.
It's a bit nerve-wracking though when you go off a tree again, having not climbed for a while. It's a lot higher than it looked from the ground.
The tree is higher than the Statue of Liberty.
If we see any gibbons, I think they're going to be extremely nervous. It's a remote spot. Hasn't been anyone here, let alone people up trees.
With the help of the climbing team, the platform is hauled up the forest giant.
Probably a little bit higher.
Rainforest trees can grow over 70 meters high, but they are precarious, with their shallow roots clinging to thin soils. If a storm blows in, they can easily crash to the ground. But if you're serious about finding gibbons, this is the only place to be. Now Justine must sit and wait. It could take days. After dark, the team returned to base for dinner. Later in the evening, Justine and Gordon head out to explore the surrounding forest. Their aim? To find the clouded leopard.
Separate groups of us have gone out tonight in different directions, trying to see if we can find the clouded leopard.
It is a really big deal that we found those pug marks here and so close to camp, because they are one of the rarest cats in the world, and we've got one living very close to the camp. Using spotlights is actually one of the best ways of finding things at night time, because more often than not, if you catch a cat particularly in these spotlights, they just stop. You get this eye shine, the light bouncing back off their eyes.
As the search for the leopard takes them deeper into the jungle, Gordon comes under attack.
Oh, get off.
From blood-sucking leeches.
I really don't like them. They're quite abhorrent, really. He's got his teeth into me. I'll have to kind of pull it off with my nail. As soon as they latch on, but you can't even get them off your finger, look. And he'll work his way to a nice, warm area.
The leopard is so well camouflaged, the team could be walking right past one and not notice. To help track it down, Gordon has brought a piece of high technology to this ancient forest.
This is the first night I've used the thermal imaging camera. Anything that's hotter than the average is going to show out a bright orange, so warm-blooded mammals are going to stick out like a sore thumb.
That time again. Just quick. Oh, stop for that time. Walkie-talkie.
Justine's team see some eye shine.
Sort of red eyes.
Yeah?
Just push it down.
It's not the leopard, but they found its prey. Two tiny mouse deer.
So these are mouse deer?
Leopard dinner. Well spotted. I've got to be up at 4:30, so we're going to cut it short.
Right.
Because that gives me precisely 6 hours sleep.
Gordon presses deeper into the jungle and makes an extraordinary find.
There's a tarsier just about 5 metres in front of me. It's a little red dot, orange dot, right in the middle of the frame. Okay, I'm going to move a little bit closer, try and get further down the bank.
The tarsier, secretive and silent with huge eyes to make out predators hunting it in the darkness.
It said that if humans had eyes the size of tarsiers, they'd be as big as apples. They can nearly rotate their head 360 degrees. They can look all the way around that way.
A cousin of the bush baby, the tarsier is an important find. It's never been seen in this canyon before.
To sit this close to a wild tarsier is fantastic, really good.
Almost midnight, and the team is still searching for the leopard, when suddenly, everything changes.
We have to move. Is this starts to get a bit dangerous, yeah? Yeah.
Rain, no problem. Rain with wind, big problem. Base camp, this is Junior, come in, over.
A storm like this could bring a tree crashing down on them.
This is one of these situations when you can easily get caught out.
And then, just as they reach base camp, a terrible sound is heard. It's the forest tree, knocked over by the storm.
We just had this huge crash, and there's a tree falling, and there's a lot of rain tonight, and what happens is you get these huge trees that are held up by nothing but vines that died years ago. And what happens when it rains, things just start falling down, so you've got huge weight of wood just falling, and it fell very close. So just in a quick scan round, it didn't fall on any of the sleeping areas.
100 tons of tree fell to the ground just yards from the base camp. No one was hurt, but it's a sobering reminder of just how far they are from help. The morning after the storm, there's an air of quiet concentration in camp. Steve Baxter and the rest of the mountaineering team are making their last preparations for climbing a remote jungle peak. There's a briefing on the use of the radios, their only safety line in an emergency.
So basically during the day you're going to be on channel 3, and then at night time or late afternoon they'll put you onto channel 1.
Their destination? Mount Cooley, permanently shrouded in cloud. The team will spend a week climbing through the thick mist to discover what lies at the top of this mysterious mountain. The climbers start the long walk into Mount Cooley, carrying all their gear and food on their backs.
They have 25 kilo backpacks on. That's tough going. It's going to be hard. I mean, really, really hard work.
As they trudge through the understory, high above, Justine sits and waits for her gibbons.
This is my little platform. It's not very big. As you can see, it's a long way down. I got leeched on the way up. That's the problem with being on the ground. Up here you don't get any leeches. Getting up at 4 AM is pretty grim, and trudging up these muddy slopes before light, but it's worth it when you get up here.
Justine is spending every single daylight hour perched in her treetop.
It's pretty frustrating because I can actually hear the gibbons, but I can't see them, and they're not very far, but they're just behind some trees and endless vegetation. It's a bit frustrating, that's all.
It's even more frustrating for the team of climbers. After the heavy rain, the mountain has turned to mud.
Hopefully, there should be some fabulous new species here. Just gonna need some time to get out and start looking. Because at the moment, all you can really focus on is putting one foot in front of the other and just fighting to get some purchase on a sleek ground.
Feeling for every handhold, they inch their way upwards. And into the dense layer of cloud. In the canyon, patience has paid off for Justine. The gibbons have at last come close enough to be filmed.
Suddenly, they all started calling, but they started calling right here, almost next to me. Incredible that they've come so close. I never expected that.
they can travel through the canopy as fast as birds can fly. That would be a great thing to experience. And also be able to hang on one arm for about 15 minutes whilst eating. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Justine has discovered that there's a healthy population of gibbons in this remote canyon. It's a major boost to ensuring its conservation. That evening, the team look at Justine's pictures. It's been a successful week with over 20 species captured on camera, including the tarsier and the gibbons, and many more recorded. Only the clouded leopard has eluded them, so far. But even as they celebrate, trouble is brewing. The climbing team has lost communication with base camp. Ever since they disappeared into the clouds on Mount Cooley, there's been nothing on the radio but static.
Nothing heard, move to channel 2.
The experienced mountaineers know just how vital the daily radio check-ins. Something must be wrong. The next morning, there's still no radio contact with the Cooley team.
Well, Cooley Group, this is BBC base radio check over.
Even with the radio down, the climbers decide to press on regardless.
Cooley Group, this is BBC base radio check over. Take it easy up there.
The climbers are vulnerable. If they have an accident, base camp will have no way of knowing. Steve Backshall's aim as a climber is to reach the top, but more importantly for the expedition, his goal as a biologist will be to find what lives at the summit.
The rock itself is not very solid. It's grim, you know, when we're stepping on that stuff. But we're the first people ever to have touched this rock, ever to have gone further than here. Every step is a mystery.
He's climbed some of the world's highest mountains, but these jungle cliffs are rain-soaked, slippery and treacherous. Steve's leading the climb, a risky but necessary job to secure a rope for his fellow climber, Tim Fogg.
Oh, yuck.
You've gone quiet, Steve. How's it going?
Everything's revoltingly loose.
Oh, great. Thunder again.
It's not really what I want to be hearing.
No.
I'm stuck up here covered in metal gear.
For those at base camp, the storm is the least of their worries. The jungle is proving a tough place to live and work. Parasites, injuries, and humidity are all taking their toll. For environmental scientist Dr. Tara Shine, it's all part of expedition life.
The river's in flood and has been in flood for 4 days, which means that getting anywhere is really difficult. And everything is damp, so we all are starting to smell the same. I think we're all eating the same stuff, so our sweat is kind of smelling the same. And then all of our clothes smell like the same mixture of sweat, damp and river water. But worst of all, for the people who are unwell, we have run completely out of toilet roll. It's quite nice.
Now part of the team is setting off on a new mission. It's wildlife cameraman Gordon Buchanan's biggest challenge yet.
Tara and I are heading off in search of some elephants. So I think it's going to be quite interesting because it's
They range far and wide, so we're going to have to be pretty mobile.
Borneo is home to extremely rare jungle elephants, found nowhere else in the world. Once numerous, they're now under threat of extinction. These elephants roam huge distances and have the ability to melt into the jungle. The team wants to track them down and film them, but it won't be easy.
Come on, Gordon, get it together.
As Tara and Gordon get started, high up on Mount Cooley, Steve's team is struggling to reach the summit. Steve's finding that the mountain is a series of demanding cliff faces and grueling scrambles.
This mossy forest is one of the most mystical environments on the planet, and everything hung in this green carpet. It's beautiful. There's none of the huge trees we had lower down. Instead, they're all very spindly and small, and just fighting to get some purchase on the steep ground.
The going has been so tough that Steve and Tim have averaged just half a mile a day. Now they can look back on their progress.
First proper view.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Far off in the valley below, Tara is picking up unmistakable signs of elephants.
One way you can tell how old elephant dung is by the flies. So this is super fresh, warm dung, and these flies, which are slightly bigger, these indicate that this is less than 1 hour old. And then by the end of 4 hours, there's no flies. Which is quite a clever system.
Feel your stomach kind of, it's as if you're kind of like feeling nauseous, and it's just these really low, bassy noises.
So far all you can see is moving leaves from leaves that are getting eaten.
To get close to the elephants without being trampled, they must rely on a local tracker. Bert works for the WWF and understands elephants better than anyone in Borneo.
We'd be in danger here if we were with Bert because we can't read these elephants and how they will react.
The team must speak in whispers. These dangerous elephants are easily spooked.
You can hear that they're around, but I haven't seen one yet. I've seen movement, heard lots, but I've been kind of shot.
Despite weighing over a ton, the elephants disappear quietly into the dense foliage. They travel along familiar routes between feeding grounds. So, as a first step to saving their habitat, the team must keep up with them and find out exactly where they are going. The climbers have forced their way up 1,200 arduous meters and believe they're just a day away from the top.
Oh, cold though.
We've hit rock for the second time, but this time it's a far more serious proposition. This is right below the top of the ridge. Very, very steep, covered in all kinds of rubbish and really serious looking.
Check it first, but that hold up high left looks great.
This isn't climbing, this is gardening.
Was that sounded just a little bit loose, did it?
Yep.
Yeah. The loose rock is a real worry. That's a real problem, you know, because you can't trust anything. Can you get anything in there? Good stuff. He's got to get in as much gear as possible because the consequences of any sort of significant fall on this just don't, it's not on. Any news on what you can see?
Clouds rolling in. It's beautiful over the forest.
Excellent, jolly good.
And none of it has ever seen a human footprint. Except down there.
It's late in the afternoon, and the mountaineers reach a plateau. The climb is taking its toll, not least on the third member of the team, the man behind the camera, Johnny Rogers.
How are you, buddy? How are you doing?
Safe to say I'm absolutely exhausted. Trying to get this camera up is hell. That's a nightmare.
You're scared and you're exhausted and torn to shreds like we are. Everything just starts going wrong. Every piece of kit catches on all the stuff that you're going past, and well, it's just feeling like a horror story at the moment.
But hey, we're getting there and we're closer to the top.
Just strolling around to try and get a decent look at the peak, we came across this little fella. This is a rhino beetle. This is the male. You can see this enlarged spike or horn on its head that the males use for combat. Very impressive little fella. Look at that.
The elephant's trail has led Tara and Gordon to the very edge of the jungle, and to clear signs that humans are nearby.
This is an illegal device. I'm not sure I want to follow him. I'm here to analyze this kid. Literally like 10 meters away from us.
There's something wrong. The young male before them appears agitated and could charge. Bert edges forward alone and stands his ground.
Bert's just standing in the track in front of the elephants. And he's seen one that's injured probably by some kind of trampoline by people who are living in oil and having and damaging their property. They're very big, scary animals. And the noises just really go right through your body. And you're very aware that in here a lot of the trees are very small, and what we're supposed to do when an elephant comes is hide behind a tree. If I hide behind that tree, it's not going to make any impression at all.
And if I run away, you're still afraid.
After a hard day's climb, the mountaineers rehydrate their rations and drink out of makeshift cups.
You get a good boil, good scurvy water, and there's all kinds of nasties in there. kill them off good and proper. It's not meant to be cold in the rainforest, but we got cold today. I tell you what though, I seriously believe that tomorrow we're going to be standing on the summit of that mountain. I really do. I think that we've done all the hard work, we've done all the real nasty thrashing. I reckon we're going to get up top there and it's going to be plain sailing.
Tara and Gordon's search has brought them to a major river.
This group proceed to that side.
Markings on the bank show that a herd of elephants has swum all the way across to the other side.
This ecosystem along the sides of the river is quite special. It's got a really high biodiversity, so even just in terms of monkeys, there's any number that you can see, different types of leaf monkeys, macaques, proboscis monkeys.
Highly endangered, proboscis monkeys live only in Borneo and congregate at rivers to feed on the mangrove. Only the males have these bizarre noses. It's thought that the females find them attractive.
Here, the government has recognised that this ecosystem needs attention to looking after it.
This narrow river corridor may be protected, but it's far too small for the elephants who roam over huge areas foraging for food.
Most of this whole area was logged in the past. The big problem now is that instead of an elephant meandering through a lowland forest to get to where he wants to go, he has to plough through somebody's plantation. Probably gobbles a few plants on the way, causes quite a lot of destruction. So there's growing problems of conflict between people and the elephants.
Bert finds the spot where the herd has clambered up the bank. The footprints and damage to crops show how recently the elephants passed through.
Already, dry and breakable.
Here, they've barged their way into a banana crop.
They did quite a lot of damage, didn't they? They can really rip off big bits. And all the nice green shoots as well.
The real indication of their strength, they can just pick this up as if it's like a stick in the ground. If you try and pull one of these out of the ground, you'll be there for about half an hour. So this is immense strength in the trunk. You see? The footprint here.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, that's the toes.
Yeah. 15 plus, huh?
You think?
Yeah.
And that again you tell by how much destruction the size of the path they leave behind them.
Yeah.
A decade ago, this farmland was jungle, but the elephants are creatures of habit and still try to travel along familiar routes, destroying crops in their path. In an attempt to stop them, some farmers take extreme measures.
So you put something massive in this end, light it down there, just to scare the elephants.
Just spit it off.
Well, they do three key things. One is they've dug this trench. The second is they have this very elaborate electric fence. And the third thing is that on nights like last night when they hear the elephants, they come out and they light fires and they set off these cannon to make noise and flame to keep the elephants away.
On Mount Cooley, one final cliff stands between the team and the summit. With only enough room for one man at a time, Steve will film himself as he climbs.
Set up as 2 cameras in the helmet. One looking forwards, which sees what I see, and one looking backwards at my face, probably seeing looks of abject terror as I'm climbing. All covered with grime, overgrown, very, very slippery.
As lead climber, Steve has to forge a way ahead without dislodging rocks that could kill his teammates below.
Need to keep checking all the sides of the rocks. Solid. Horrible loose rock. to send that down onto the guys' heads.
It's been a hard slog, but at last, the climb is almost over.
Come on. That's it. Pretty much as far as I can go. Guess I'm going to have to hack my way through this vegetation here. For the moment, I think I'll try and set up a spot to bring the boys up. Sit back and enjoy the view. Stunning. All you can hear is the birds and the cicadas.
At the summit, the climbers find an extraordinary habitat.
This is a super spot, isn't it? It's all clear, it's like a little sort of fairy garden. It's wonderful. Wonderful.
That was a fantastic leap. That was absolutely fantastic. Well done.
Magic cheers.
They are surrounded by strange carnivorous plants, unlike anything seen lower down in the jungle.
Up here there are pitcher plants absolutely everywhere, and they're like little works of art. All this is really is a modified leaf, which fills up with water, and insects come along, stumble around this room and fall in and can't get back out again. And eventually they decompose inside, and the plant uses their nutrients in order to grow. And around here there are absolutely hundreds of them. Look at them everywhere. And tiny itty bitty little ones like this to huge ones that can hold over 2.5 litres and have been known to catch rats.
Back down in the lowlands, the tables have turned.
Yeah, that's the round.
May be the strongest of Borneo's animals, but their grip on survival is weak. Understanding how they live could not only save them, but also their jungle home. There's still much more to be explored by the team, and every species the expedition finds and records could help to save these remote rainforests. Next time, as the expedition reaches the halfway mark, the team pushes even further into the heart of Borneo in search of the secrets of the jungle. Insect expert Dr. George McGavin from the University of Oxford and Professor Tyrone Hayes, a specialist on frogs from the University of California, are the last team members to arrive.
Here, everything's new. Everything I see for the first time.
With the team complete, the expedition is now ready to take on even greater challenges as they search for extraordinary wildlife in this vast, unknown wilderness.
And he's off.